Welcome to this Sports Showcase event on Harford TV. I'm Don Morrison. Today, we're at Edgewood High School in a rainy, foggy, Tim Lindenkamp, this is the day that you would wish somebody else would be here doing the ball game out in the weather, right?
Well, I'm a baseball guy,
Yeah,
so
there you
I'll
go.
be all right.
You take what you get. Tim Lindenkamp, the ex-coach at Aberdeen High School, athletic director at Aberdeen. This is a game that you and I have both been coaches. We've had an experience like you do at Edgewood where truthfully, you don't have a whole lot of senior leadership. You've got a freshman-laden team. You've got a team that you're paying your dues. On the other hand, Harford Tech, a team that was mediocre last year, you've come into your own this year. You're 7-2. You're on the brink of what could be a championship season. So on paper, this looks like a mismatch.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to hope your freshmen, don't make any mental mistakes and make the routine play. That's all you can ask for them, and then hopefully put the ball in play and make something happen.
And giving Harford Tech coach Paul Danielle a lot of credit, he is starting kids who have not played a lot all year long, starting a lot of seniors who've been coming out since March 15th. They've been paying their dues. Pardon me, they haven't had a chance to play. For instance, he's starting some players that have had 2 or 3 at-bats all season long. His pitcher, Will Kerrigan, has pitched just 3 innings all year long with a 7.00 ERA. Certainly you want to win the game. That's obviously what you want to do as a coach. On the other hand, you don't want to embarrass your opposition.
That's correct. As coaches, we're both ex-coaches. Sometimes you might want to go with your starters, and if you get a couple-run lead, then you start bringing in those substitute guys, because you don't want to come out here in the first inning and give up a 6-spot, 7-spot right away because you're using some inexperienced guys.
Yeah. Hartford Tech coming in, as we said, with a 7-2 record. Edgewood is 0-6, 0 wins, 6 losses, exactly, what you don't want to be. Yet on the other hand, you look at this team, Tim, and you've got a freshman catcher, a freshman first baseman, a freshman shortstop, a freshman second baseman, a sophomore in left field, a freshman in center field. You're hoping that these young people don't get discouraged, they learn a lot, and in a year or two, they're ready to compete against the big boys in the county.
Most definitely, and like I said, hopefully they can make the routine play. And what I would do is I would try to put the pressure on Harford Tech's defense. I'm going to bunt, I'm going to hit and run. I'm going to have guys in motion when they get on base to hopefully make them make some mistakes and try to maybe steal a couple runs that way.
Greg Rodenbaugh, the 6-year coach, veteran coach for Edgewood, he's seen it all. He's been here. He's done it all. He's had great teams. And this year, you're paying your dues. When we talk about, you and I go back to the 1970s at Aberdeen, where in the early 1970s with Mike Gustav and Robert Hinch, great players, that Aberdeen was on top of the world. And then they all graduated. And we had to start all over again. It helped we had a kid named Ripken who came along about that time. But, you go through cycles as a coach, as a team.
Yeah, our 2016 team, I had the Smith boys, and we lost in the semifinals, 1 game away from the state championship. They were military. They got shipped out. I lost a bunch of seniors. So then 2017 was like, oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. What do we do?
What are we going to do now?
You know what? Those years where the teams are not that good, sometimes they were my favorite years because you had kids who hustled, who wanted to play, who didn't expect much of themselves and not much was expected of them, but they came out and gave their all. And I think, again, character means when things are going bad, can you still be optimistic? Can you still come out every day? Can you still play hard? Or do you just get down and phone it in?
Yeah, well, it's a funny thing. That year, when we do our BP, we have a man on second, and I always say, get him over, get him in. So Owen Smith, our number 3 hitter, who was one of the best kids I've coached, he comes up, no outs. He bunts the ball and gets the runner to third. So I said to him, Doug, what are you doing? You're not the get him over guy.
Yeah.
You're the get him in guy. I got enough get him over guys.
Yeah.
You're the get him in guy.
Fun. Well, we'll give you the starting lineups here as we're waiting as the umpires are talking with the coaches and getting ready. Edgewood will start again. We talked about their freshmen. They'll be starting their freshman pitcher, Landon Miller. I'm sorry, let me turn the page. Edgewood will start a senior pitcher by the name of Landon Miller. The catcher is the freshman, Justin Payton. At first base, DeAndre Green, a freshman. The freshman Mutai Hughes is at second base. Caden Kestner, the son of Kestner, who was played at Aberdeen back in the 1990s. In fact, he told me before the game that he actually was interviewed by Harford TV back in 1997
Wow.
playing for soccer. So now he's the assistant coach, and Rob Kestner is the young man's name, and his son, Caden Kestner, playing shortstop. So another generation. Can you believe it? You know, that's how old I am, that the young man who played soccer, now his son is playing, for Edgewood High School.
We've got it at Aberdeen. We've got Virgil Mullins, who coached at Aberdeen. I coached his son, Jason, and now Quincy is a pitcher infielder for Aberdeen High School. So, yeah, you see everybody come through.
Josh Hambrick will continue that lineup for you. The senior is playing at third base. In left field, Isaiah Hanks, a sophomore. Ben George is a freshman in center, and Ty Beatty, another freshman, is playing right field. That's the Edgewood lineup. We don't have a whole lot of stats. Greg Rodenbaugh said, hey, we don't have any stats because at 0-6, we've, struggled. They played Harford Tech the first game of the year, March the 25th. They lost 20-5 and was a mercy rule, slaughter rule game shortened to 4.5 innings. Harford Tech scored 15 runs in the first inning. They were up 15-0 before Edgewood had a chance to bat.
Wow.
Well, I guess Edgewood was the visitor in that case. So it'll be interesting to see. And Tim, here's another thing. If you're a senior on a team that's rebuilding, hey, next year doesn't exist for you. This is your year. So you want to go out with fresh memories about your senior year. The only way you do that is to win some ball games.
Yeah, you got to win some ball games, but also you have to step up as a senior. You see, you have all these freshmen playing, so you have to take a leadership role in, because a lot of times, the coach can't do that. So when you're in the infield playing as a senior, you got to talk to your underclassmen, help them position themselves, let them know the situation. Take charge of the game.
Have some leadership.
Leadership.
Yep, the Harford Tech, by the way, was in the Chesapeake division last year. They finished tied for last place in the Chesapeake, and what happens is the last place team moves down to the lower division, so Harford Tech goes down to the Susquehanna. They want nothing more than to go back up to the Chesapeake next year.
It came down to them a rising sun, and we're still not sure why Rising Sun didn't go down.
Politics,
and,
it's called.
yes, politics at its best.
Well, we're ready to start this game. Max Swart, the shortstop for Harford Tech, will be the leadoff hitter. Max, a .423 batter, has scored 10 runs, 5 RBIs, has a double. He is a young man who is a leader at the top of the order for the Harford Tech Cobras. One of the starters who is starting today. Ground ball off his foot. Ouch, that hurts.
Well, I was just watching Miller. That's a good start. He needs to, pound the strike zone, try to get his team off the field as quick as possible. Try to put a goose egg up on Harford Tech in the top of the first. That'll build some confidence.
It surely will, yeah. If you can get out, remember you gave up 15 runs, not you, Miller, but the Tech, the Rams did when they played Tech the first game. So anything short of 15 is an improvement. It'd be nice to get out with no runs.
Well, you're hoping that, they don't score a bunch of runs, because then it's like the here we go again syndrome.
Smart, the shortstop, in the back of the box. A little bit of a closed stance. Ooh, throw behind him. That's not exactly what Miller wanted to do.
That was a attempt at a curveball there, I believe.
Yeah, which didn't spin.
Yeah.
Cement mixer, I think they call them.
Yeah.
It's kind of
a sweeper.
A sweeper that didn't sweep. It's kind of fun, Tim. You'll see that Swart has a bit of a closed stance. Now they've sort of gone to the open stance as the stance that people are using more now. Remember back in the 90s, almost everybody batted with a closed stance, had that front foot closer to the plate. Now it's switched around. Everybody seems to be opening up those hips early.
No, my stance, I think I was a little open, but not real open. Almost parallel my feet.
2-1 the count. Just a bit high. 3 balls and a strike.
He should be sitting here, dead red.
Dead red. Put it down here, 3-1. Interesting that Miller uses that set stance. Ground ball, wide of third, foul. We've seen that more and more in the major leagues, especially where in the old days you used to get like double pumps. People had the big windups. Now they've gone almost exclusively to almost a set, a modified set with nobody on base.
I think what happened was is that when you come to that set, you can control your mechanics a little better than
Hmm.
going through that
Hmm.
windup. And especially these young kids, I think it's good for them to be throwing from a set.
3 balls, 2 strikes, top of the first inning. Down low and outside ball 4, and so the walk is recorded. Down to first goes Swart. Obviously not what you want to do if you're Edgewood. Travis Vollmer now, the second baseman coming up. Travis, a 190 hitter. Tim, you talk about get him up, get him over. In this case, if you're Vollmer, in the old days, you'd probably think about bunting, sacrificing, but what would you do if you were Paul Danielle here?
I'd let him take a little hack and then maybe, see how that is and then maybe bunt with the second pitch.
Down low and outside, right by the catcher. Payton goes back and recovers it, but going down to second base on the wild pitch is Swart. Again, a freshman catcher, that's the kind of pitch that you hope at some point your catcher will catch. Yeah, it's wide. Yeah, it's a wild pitch, but still, you hope your catcher would be able to corral that.
Yeah, he kind of stabbed at it. He's got to move his feet a little better.
Runner at second, nobody out. Travis Vollmer, second baseman. Infield in double play depth. Strike across the inside corner, outside corner actually, right at the knees. Good pitch, 1-1.
I would come right back with that same pitch.
What are you seeing from Miller so far? You like his velocity?
His velocity is okay. It seems like he's got to get a little more of his legs into it. A lot of arm there, it looks like. But again, right now, as that curveball is not going over, I would just keep pounding that outside corner, and then hopefully maybe the umpire give me a little bit off that outside corner.
1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Runner at second. There's that curveball. Nice job by Payton going out and making that catch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swart leading off at second base.
He's got to challenge him here now. He can't go 3-2. He needs to come right at him here.
Mutai Hughes trying to keep him close at second base. Pop-up foul coming back our way and over our heads and out of play. Had a chance to talk to Mrs. Kessner, the wife of the assistant coach Rob, and the mother of Caden Kessner. She's back in foul ball territory. I told her to look out for the foul balls that are coming your way.
Oh,
Strike
nice
3
pitch.
on the inside corner. Wow.
Nice pitch.
Great pitch. That's exactly what you want to do. On the other hand, if you're a Vollmer, too close to take.
Oh, yeah, you can't take that. I'll tell you right now, if Miller can keep, hitting the spots, right now he doesn't have to worry about that curveball too much. You move that fastball in and out, up and down.
Ethan Provost now, the number 3 hitter in the order. Swung on, tip foul, back and out of play. 1 strike, 250 hitter, a 3-run scored. He got 1 double. We mentioned that Paul Danielle is starting a lot of players who don't normally get a lot of playing time. We'll be running into them as we get lower in the order. 1 out, 1 on, runner at second. That's Swart, he walked. On the inside corner. No balls, 2 strikes, and now does he nibble?
You know what? I would come. I'd throw a fastball about above the letter, see if he'll chase.
Yeah. Curveball hit into right field, moving on it. It's going to fall in for the base hit, and the runner goes down to third base. Swart had to hold up a moment. The ball falls in front of Ty Beatty. Ty, a freshman out there, maybe in future years he'll get a better jump on that ball.
Yeah, he looked like he had a little trouble finding it. Got a bad jump. That's where the runner, he should, take a peek back, get a better read on that.
Yeah. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Ben Kidrowski now. Ben is the third baseman for Harford Tech. 200 hitter, 4 runs scored, 4 RBIs. Runners in scoring position at third base. Inside corner. Not sure exactly what that was. They looked like he was going to try to fake a throw and held on to it too long, and the ball rolled out to shortstop. Runner at third, yeah, I think maybe he's probably smart playing it safe here early in the game.
Yeah, he only got one out. He's in scoring position already.
Justin Payton, the freshman catcher. Maybe the ball was a little bit slick. We've had a little bit of rain here just before the game. Fly ball deep into center field. Moving back on it, center fielder George. The ball falls safely. Run will score. Runner goes down to third base. First and third. What happened out there, Tim?
He got a bad break on or something, and he kind of did a little pirouette, but he came up with the play. That's all that matters. He caught it and got that second out. So, if Miller can, get out of this inning with one, I think that's a great start for the Rams.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to George. He hung with that ball. Looked like maybe the ground slipped out from under him. So Kidrowski out on the sac fly. The run does score. There's a curveball. RBI for Kidrowski.
Again, I think he needs to work that fastball in here on his hands.
Gavin Angelini. Gavin, the catcher. Pop up. Moving on at first baseman. In foul territory and goes out of play. Angelini, one of those young men who has not played a whole lot this year. 1 for 3 on the year. So here we are in mid to late April, and he's been up to the plate 3 times all year long. So getting a chance to play today, and I'm sure he's valuing that chance.
I tell you, he's a big boy, too. And like I said, I'd pound him in. I don't want him to extend his arms.
Gavin is a senior. Backup catcher. Line shot into left field. Falls in front of the left fielder and goes by him. Run will score. Angelini will go down to second base on the single and the error. So an RBI for Angelini. He hit that ball right on the button.
Yeah, that was a nice swing.
Coming into scores, Prevost.
I think that's where the left fielder Hanks. I think he just got in between. He wasn't sure if he could come in and catch it. So he probably should just stayed back and played it on the hop and held him to a base hit instead of coming in hard and watching it go past him.
Looks like we're going to get a courtesy runner out at second base. It looks like that would be number 7, Josh Hayes, will come into courtesy run. We'll talk about that role in just a second. Ben Parsons now the batter, the left fielder, senior. Runner at second base, 2 out, outside. Tim, the good news is that you're batting .667. The bad news is if you go 2 for 4, your average drops.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, always the glass half empty.
Yes, it is.
Inside. Parsons, another one of those young men who hasn't played a whole lot this year. The senior left fielder batted only 4 times, 3 for 4, has scored 2 runs, has a double.
3 for 4. He's trying himself in the lineup then. He must be swinging it pretty good.
Yep. Down low, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Tech having scored 2 runs here. That walk, which is, it seems like you walk a batter leading off an inning, Tim, and it just seems to always kill you.
Walks always do. It seems like they get on, they score.
Up high, ball 4. 4 pitches, 4 balls. Runners now at first and second. Angelini at second, Parsons on at first, and Ryan Hardisky now. Ryan, the right fielder. Ryan looking to get in the books. He's 0 for 3 on the year. Up high. Looks like Miller has lost the strike zone now. Maybe he's become distracted a bit, or.
Yeah, and you got a freshman catcher back there. That's where he's got to help. He's got to beat that glove on the ground. Let him know you got to get it down here.
Score 2-0. The Harford Tech leading. Max Swartz scored the first run, and the second run scored by Ethan Prevost. Time called as Pavin goes out now. Payton goes out to talk to his pitcher. That's something you want to see. You know that, Tim, as a catcher, you've got to be in control. Not only are you catching a game, but you're in control of the game.
Right. Everything's in front of you. You can see everything. And yeah, he's got to take control and really, try to help his pitcher, try to get him, the target, talk to him.
Pop up. Right fielder. Makes catch. There it is, and they do record the final out of the inning. So for the Harford Tech Cobras, they get 2 runs on 2 base hits. There was 1 error, and 2 runners were left on base. So we played now 1/2 inning. Harford Tech leads it by a score of 2-0. You have to feel better if you're the right fielder, Beatty, coming in and making that catch. I mean, you're a freshman. He was pressed into duty. The right fielder who was supposed to start got sick today. They're down to 11 players out of a 20-man roster, the Edgewood Rams we're talking about. So, he's able to make that catch.
Yeah, this is a day where you're down players. This is where you try to show them what you can do. So maybe you can get that starting job when everybody comes back. What do you think of the courtesy runner?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I think it's a great role to get more players in. I think it's also a great role to speed it up where your catcher can get his gear back on so he doesn't have to get gear on, after the inning is over. And just so folks know what it is, if you're the pitcher or the catcher, it's the option of the manager. He can bring in a courtesy runner, and that is not a substitution, so that runner can come back in the game, and that catcher or pitcher, not the limited substitution where you can come out one time. He can come out indefinitely. Each time he can get somebody a courtesy run play. I take it that you're not a big fan of it.
I am not. And I'll tell you why. Because usually my pitcher and my catcher are 2 of my better athletes on the field.
Yep.
And I want them running the bases, not, say one of my bench players that really doesn't get much time.
Hey,
and I understand that, you want to get kids in the game and everything.
Yeah.
But, a lot of times, sometimes my catcher might be my best
Yeah.
base runner on my team.
Well, in that case, then you have the option of not using the courtesy run.
Which I used a lot.
David Bonsall, who was my pitcher back at Aberdeen, one of the great pitchers I had, I always DH for him because I wanted him to concentrate on pitching. And he would say, "Coach, let me play. I can hit the ball." And no. I want you to concentrate on pitching. So we always had that battle. Oh, that was fun. By the way, there you see the defensive lineup for the Harford Tech Cobras. They'll start Brian Angelini or Gavin Angelini behind the plate. Pitcher is Will Kerrigan. We'll talk a bit more about him. He's had some time. Really pitched only 3 innings on the year. From first round to third, it's Hunter Arnett at first, Travis Bolmer at second, Max Sword at third, and Ben Hidrosky at third base. As we lead off, the leadoff hitter is Caden Kessner, son of the assistant coach Rob Kessner. Caden is a freshman shortstop. Finishing the lineup, Ben Parsons in left field, Ethan Prevost in center, and Ryan Hardinsky is in right field. Squares as if to bunt, takes a strike.
And now the pitcher's really in control 0-2 here.
Will Kerrigan, the pitcher, we'll talk more about him here in just a moment. Swung on, tip foul, held by the catcher.
Yep, nice job by the catcher.
Gavin Angelini. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, the out. He did tip foul that last one. Isaiah Hanks, now the sophomore left fielder at the bat. Kerrigan, we mentioned, Paul Danielle, the coach, said he came in as the 3rd pitcher on the roster for Harford Tech. Hasn't had a chance to throw a lot this year, and as you said, Tim, this is a chance to show the coach, hey, I need to be on your regular rotation.
He's challenging hitters. He's going right at him.
Sophomore hits the ball squibber. Let's see, is that foul or fair?
Fair
Yep,
ball.
they called it fair. Good job by first baseman Hunter Arnett to be able to corral that ball. 2 up, 2 down, 3 unassisted on that out. I thought that ball was going to squib foul.
I did too. First baseman made a good job by grabbing it right away.
Number 3 hitter in the order, Landon Miller, the pitcher. Landon, a senior. Trying to help his cause. Foul back, right on it. Anytime you can foul that ball straight back to him, you're right on the ball.
You're right on it.
Wind picking up a bit. The temperatures were, I guess, in the low 60s when we started. They're getting down into the 50s, and just a gray, ugly day here at Edgewood.
But it's,
High.
but it's baseball. It doesn't matter what the day
You know,
is.
I'm with you. You know, and especially in March and April. You may be able to hear the wind in our microphones. It is picking up. Where's that the train you're hearing?
I believe that might be the train.
Yeah, it might be the 550 going through here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Take a 2 balls and a strike. Landon Miller, the batter, swung on. High heat.
I like this. Kerrigan's going right at him. He's
Yeah.
challenging him.
He's got that lower arm delivery about 3/4. Strike on the outside corner. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 strikeouts, nobody left on. We played 1 full now. It's 2-0. The lead by the Harford Tech Cobras.
Good job by Kerrigan. I think that was a 10-pitch inning.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with Kerrigan. He throws the ball really well. He's got that lower arm slot we talked about. And I like his windup. It's not a set, but it's a really short windup. So as you said, Tim, it eliminates some of the mechanics that could come in with that big windup.
Right.
There was a pitcher named Don Larson who pitched for the Orioles back in 1954. He got traded to the Yankees. Threw that no-hit, complete, shutout, perfect game in the 1956 World Series. He and Bob Turley came up with a no windup motion where they just simply towed the rubber, turned the hips, and threw the ball, which was revolutionary to the 1950s in the major leagues where everybody had that sometimes double pump, you know, that big windup. They were ahead of their time.
I think my guy that I remember growing up that kind of had no windup was Jim Cott. I think Jim Cott didn't really wind up. And now you look at the Japanese pitchers, they start and they stop in the middle of the windup.
Yeah, they all do. It's like that little hesitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I think that should throw your timing off a little bit as a hitter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to watch as you get a bit older. I'm much older than you, but having watched the evolution of baseball over the years. Now with the pitching clock where you have to pitch the ball, what do you think of that?
I like it. There are some discussions that it's causing more injuries to pitchers. I don't know if there's any data on that yet or not.
See, I think that's it. You're throwing 100 miles an hour. Every pitcher's throwing 100. And you know, that's what's hurting your arm. It's not, you know, taking 15 seconds between pitches. So, you know, I just think that's, if you're going to throw that fast, you're going to have put pressure on your arm. So we start the top of the second with Will Kerrigan, the pitcher. Swung on a miss. Kerrigan, who has that 2-0 lead. ERA coming in at 7.00, giving up 3 earned runs in 3 innings of work. That's going down. Ground ball, third base, wide of third base, and past the third baseman for the base hit. Turning first, holding on at first base. Josh Hambrick, the third baseman. That ball came up on him, and it looked like he tried to field it in a conventional way rather than backhanding it.
I was going to say that he should have just, slid his feet and backhanded a little bit. We got another pinch runner here.
Got another courtesy
number
runner
6
for the Harford Tech Cobras. Let's see who that number 6 is. Looks like it's Jensen Graff. Jensen Graff in the ball game as a courtesy runner, much to Tim Lindekamp's disdain. It's bringing up now Hunter Arnett, the number 9 hitter in the order for Harford Tech. Download, backhanded, off his mitt. Payton retrieves the ball, but not until the runner goes down to second base.
See, that's as a freshman, he tried to backhand it. That's where, he needs to slide his feet. And I know he's going to this new style that pros are always got, one of the knees down on the ground. It's hard to slide your feet when your knee's down in the dirt. He's up now, though, preparing for a steal.
Swung on a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Arnett batted only 2 times all year. He's 1 for 2, batting .500. Down low and outside. Tim, as you know, being an athletic director, although there may be changes coming in the Yuckback, the Cobras are anxious to get back up to the Chesapeake. If they end up winning and they're in a battle with Bow Manor for that division, Susquehanna division win, they get to go back up to the Chesapeake. Some people say, well, why would you want to do that? Get, tougher competition. That's what it's all about.
That's right. And,
Ground ball. Off that first base line. Yeah, good job.
good job.
Yeah, keeping it foul.
And you know what, the
Miller
way
comes over
now,
and kept that ball foul. That could have hit that grass and gone back
cut
there.
back. The way it is now, too, with everybody making the playoffs, you want that tougher competition so you'll be ready for the playoffs.
Very good point.
So, I think Paul really wants to get back up there and, play the Sea Miltons and Bel Airs. And
Yeah, back in the day, you had to accumulate points to get into playoffs. Now everybody makes the playoffs, so it doesn't matter about your record in the regular season. Now seeding could be a problem, but you got to beat everybody anyhow. It hits him. Hit with the pitch. Let's go back to the old days. If you didn't try to get out of the way, they would make you stay up there.
That was going through my mind. He made no attempt at all.
He took one for the team. First and second, nobody out. That brings up the leadoff hitter, Max Swart. Max, you may remember, walked on that 3-2 pitch back in the first inning. That began the troubles for pitcher Miller.
Yeah, Miller needs a nice little routine ground ball double play here, hopefully.
1 ball. Actually, nobody out. 2 on. And there's the 1 strike. We mentioned that Swart, the 423 hitter. He's one of the regulars who is playing today. Paul Danielle starting a number of his substitutes high. Good job by Payton to come out and catch that. Tim, again, that's another one of those cement mixer curveballs.
Yeah, he's struggling with that. Right now, Edgewood has their first baseman holding the runner with a man on. There he goes. Now he's getting off. He was holding the first two,
Now he's going back. Now he's going behind him.
Play a little bit behind him. Try to get your ground ball double play.
Yeah. Curveball.
Oh.
Broke that one off.
Yeah, that was one of his better ones there.
Maybe he's found it. Sometimes they talk about a pitcher, not finding his stuff until the second or third inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. We're in the top of the second inning. 2-0 lead for the Tech Cobras. Foul back. Right on it. That's a nice pitch there. Up above the strike zone.
Yep.
Coach Rodenball retrieving that ball and getting it back to his catcher.
Nice if he could throw that curveball now here for a strike. Or throw it in the dirt and maybe have him swing through it.
Oh, just high. You could tell that Max Swart was a little bit nervous waiting for that ball call.
I think maybe it just curved around the plate.
Yeah, I think it was high and inside, but it was close enough that Max was a bit worried. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, runners at first and second. Line shot, base hit into right center field. That's going to score at least 1. 1 run scores, bringing the ball in. Runners will end up at second and third base. Line shot, single by Swart, knocks in the runner Kerrigan's courtesy runner from second base. Arnett goes to third, so we have runners at first and third. All right, Tim, as a score, if the courtesy runner scores, does the pitcher who was courtesy run for get credit for it? I don't know.
I would say no, because he didn't score.
Well, there's a reason to stay in. Ballmer now the batter. Outside it goes. Ballmer struck out back in the first inning, took a third strike looking.
Yeah, Miller needs to get it out here.
Runners at second and third, nobody out. Already down by 3-0. Ground ball through into right field. Run will score 1 run, and it goes through the right fielder, so both runs will score, and Vollmer will go up to second base. So it's a single and an error to the right fielder. 1 run scores on the single, the other run scores on the error. So now it's 4-0.
Yeah, Miller needs to get a nice out here before this gets away from him.
Prevost, the number 3 hitter at the bat. He got a single into right field. First time up, got an RBI. Outside. Ethan Prevost, center fielder, batting .250 on the year, has a double. Down low, right by the catcher, moving up to third base on the pass ball.
Now that first pitch was outside, but this is where your catcher can help you. If he sits up outside and puts the corner of that plate right in his chest, and then you still catch it within your chest, that umpire may give you that call.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just sets up in the middle all the time. He's got to, you know, work around that plate to help that pitcher out.
Down low, runner will not go. Backstop is fairly close here, so on a wild pitch, it's got to go bouncing around for that runner to take a chance. Can you talk about the mental side of the game, the things that you can do as a catcher to help your team? Coach Rodenball calling timeout to go out to talk to his pitcher, trying to encourage him a bit. You can tell that Landon Miller is a bit down.
He's overthrowing right now a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's the little things with the catcher I was talking about. You know, you see the catcher catch the ball and he tries to, you know, bring his arm back in real quick. You know, we teach our catchers is when you catch it, you just roll your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So you roll it into your body, because
Mm-hmm.
if the umpire sees you, you know, pull that arm all the way across, it's like, well, that must not have been a strike.
I saw
If you
Rick
just roll your
Dempsey, giving a little thing, and he said it's a very simple thing. Just turn your wrist, bring the outside pitch in. You know, that's all you have to do. Framing has become a real art form, if you will.
Yes.
Now, Tim, they're talking about going to the automated pitch where they have the box, and they'll just radio down to the umpire and say that was a strike. Are you in favor of that? Or
Not at all.
You'd rather keep the human element in it, huh?
I think you have to keep the human element in it. I mean, what are they going to do next? Say, well, the shortstop should have fielded it, so it should be an out?
We'll give him an error because he should have made the play. Well, 4 pitches, 4 balls. Runners now at first and third. 3 runs in already in this inning. You're down 5-0. Again, we do talk about that 10-run mercy rule. And again, to clarify, it is if you've batted 5 times and you're down by 10 runs, the game would be ending at that point. Nice backhand stop. Tim, we had that situation the other day where the one team was up by 10 runs, but it was after the 5th inning. So they have to go that full inning.
Right.
If it's, let's say, a 6th inning, you're up 11-1, then it has to be 6 innings where you have to bat 6 times. There's a curveball. Again, if you're the Edgewood Rams, it's a season where you know you're not going to win a lot of games because you don't have a lot of experience, but you want to grow.
Sure.
You want to be better than you were in June than you were back in April. Oh, good looking pitch. Umpire said
Yeah,
nope,
I
bit
thought
low.
that was a nice curveball there.
Yep.
You can
Come on,
see-
Mr. Ump. Give me a break.
You can see Miller's getting frustrated.
Yeah. Run rolling at first and third. Down low. Ballmer's on at third. Prevost on at first. This is Ben Kodrowski. Ben, who got a sac fly. Nice play by the center fielder, Ben George, there back in that first inning. Down low and goes by that is ball 4. We heard Coach Rodenball say exactly what you said, Tim. You're overthrowing. Now, in layman's terms, what's that mean when you overthrow?
You know, you're trying to put a little more on it than you actually have, so your probably strides off. You might be release point might be off because you're just trying to, you know, throw it as hard as you can. You know, this is a tough spot for Miller because he's trying to carry the weight and get some outs because he's had a couple errors behind him. So I think he's trying to carry the whole weight on his shoulders.
Angelini ducks down and no advance by the runners. Gavin Angelini got that ringing RBI single to left field back in the first inning. Nobody out, bases are loaded. I'm beginning to feel some of the raindrops. Swung on a missed.
playing that nice and inside up on his hands. Now, if he can duplicate that, I think he'll be in good shape.
Angelini, a senior. I'm so impressed with these seniors who have stayed all year long, swung on and missed. For the Cobras, haven't had a whole lot of playing time. This Cobra team lost their first game of the year against North Harford. Lost it in 10 innings, 10-7. They've only lost one time since against Bow Manor. Down low and inside.
I believe Coach Danielle said it was a walk-off for Bow Manor, too. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Bow Manor always has a tough team, too.
Bohemian Manor from Chesapeake City, Cecil County. Those not familiar. Pop up. Look out, Tim. I didn't see the ball. It disappeared somewhere behind us. Rain picking up a little bit. Wind whistling around. Lovely day at Edgewood.
It's going to be a big out here. Well,
Round
he's
foul.
battling now.
Angelini, what a nice size he has, especially if you're looking at a catcher. In the old days, catchers were built like this, large. Now you're going to see a lot of catchers that are more mobile. Maybe Rick Dempsey was the first small catcher who really perfected the art. Line drive. Center fielder moving
over
and cannot
drops
corral it. Drops in, 1 run will score. Looks like they're just going to pick up 1 base as Paul Danielle has instructed his team, I think, to go station to station. Give Angelini a base hit. I don't know if the wind blew that one or the center fielder just didn't get a good jump, but it seemed to be cruising like he had a chance to catch the ball, but it fell in just beyond his grasp.
The right fielder, he could have maybe called him off. He was a little closer, I think, but that is a freshman out there.
Mm-hmm. So Angelini's been up twice, got 2 base hits. Strike on the outside corner. Then Parsons. Parsons walked in the first inning. Walmer scored on that play, the 4th run of the inning. The Tech Cobras now up 6-0. Swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded. Infield back, they're looking like they want to get the double play if they can at second base. Curveball, strike 3.
That's
Best
a big
curveball we've
out.
seen him throw.
That's a big out right there for Miller. Now's when he needs that, ground ball right to the shortstop. Maybe we can roll 2 here.
I'll take a ground ball back to the pitcher home to first. Let's do it that way.
That'd be easier.
Ryan Hardensky now. Ryan flew out to right field, ended the first inning. Strike on the outside corner. And you don't want to say he's turned a page, but it looks now that Miller is beginning to throw the ball, as his coach said, not overthrowing, just striding and throwing to the catcher. Swung on a miss. 2 pitches, 2 strikes. 3 pitches for the strikeout last batter. There's that curveball that didn't curve. Tim, what do you tell a pitcher whose curveball just doesn't, what's the secret?
Well, you can see Miller's reaction. I believe the catcher called for the curveball. He just said, no, 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 after he threw it. So, if you don't want to throw it, shake him off. You're in charge.
Swung on a miss on that fastball.
Nice job.
2 straight strikeouts. That's the 9th batter in this inning. And so Will Kerrigan, the pitcher for Harford Tech, who led off this inning with a single to left, he gets to bat again in the 2nd inning. Bases loaded, 2 out, force out anywhere. Swung on and missed. Wow.
He's pounding that outside corner really good right now.
I mean, if you look at these 2 sections of this pitching, this looks like a different pitcher.
Yes, it does.
He's just bringing the ball. Pop up. Foul and out of play. Now no balls and 2 strikes.
Run that fastball up a little bit.
Struck out Parsons on 3 pitches, struck out Hardensky on 4. 2 straight strikes here against his opposite number, Kerrigan. Foul back. And Tim, another thing I've never understood when you say heads up, me, it's heads under the table,
Yeah.
heads down, duck, cover.
Yeah, heads up, it's going to hit you in the face, isn't it?
Exactly. What, you know, I don't understand that. Down low.
Ooh, nice pitch.
That- that
That's a
was.
hard one to take.
And the curveball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases loaded, 4 runs in. The Tech Cobras have batted around here in the top of the second, leading 6-0. Ooh, off
Fought
the
that
into
off.
the bat. And back in the day when the wooden bats were used, that would have been one where there'd been bees in your hands.
That's right.
Now that they use aluminum bats, not quite as dangerous for the batter. Curveball by the catcher, nobody advancing. You can see that Paul Danielle has told his team, hey, we're not going to take the extra base. Maybe we would in a game that was competitive, but coaches are a fraternity. The last thing you want to do is to embarrass, your opposite number, because someday you're going to be in that position. You hope he has the same kind of respect for you.
That's exactly right.
Down low and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's got to challenge him here. You don't want to go 3-2 when you've been struggling some.
I think I missed a ball. I think it is 3-2. Pop up. Moving first baseman.
He's got room.
And he's unable to corral the ball. A little bit afraid of that fence. DeAndre Green, the freshman, going over at first base. Notice the pitcher, Miller. He's in the ball game. He thought maybe he could have a chance to catch that ball.
And again, these are the little things with such a young team.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the catcher can run over here and let him know. He can look right down the fence angle.
Mm-hmm.
Let him know that he's got room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's the things that they're all learning moments that you have to, get these kids to understand.
Up high, inside, ball 4, and that will force in the run. So instead of being out of the inning continues to go as the 5th run of the inning scores. Prevost comes across. Moving up to third is Kadrowski. Down to second, Angelini's designated runner. Another runner
Number
coming
6
in.
again. That was that Graft, I believe his name was.
I think you're right. Yeah, Jason Graff.
Yeah, he needs to just come right after these guys. Let his infielders make a play for him.
Arnett, the batter again. He was hit by the pitch earlier in this inning and scored. Ball 1. Arnett, the 11th batter to come to the plate here in the top of the second inning. Oh, right on it, foul back. Arnett 1 for 2 on the year.
There we go.
Inside corner.
Just challenge him. Go right at him. Let your infielders and outfielders help you.
I like Miller's arm, I really do. Swung on and
Nice,
missed.
there we go. Good job.
And out of the inning finally. He strikes out the side, Tim. That's the good news. The bad news, 5-run score before those outs are recorded. 5 runs. Let me recap. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 base hits. With 3 errors and 2 runners were left on base. We've now played an inning and a half. It's a 7-0 lead for the Harford Head Cobras.
And I was always a hitting infield guy, so how long do you let this Miller stay in for Edgewood?
I don't know what he has behind him. I don't know Edgewood's pitching staff. Miller, a senior, you would expect that he would be the one with experience. On the other hand, if you're Kerrigan now, the pitcher for Harford Tech, he looked good in that first inning. It's kind of hard to believe that this young man has a 7.00 ERA and he's pitched only 3 innings all year.
Right.
I think Paul Danielle was telling me that this is his chance to shine, to show that he needs more time in terms of the pitching rotation. So he's just been sort of maybe squeezed out because Tech has been a lot of tight games, and he hasn't had a whole lot of chance to be able to pitch.
This is his chance to shine. I mean, here he's got a 7-0, 7-0 lead. He just needs to come right down here and challenge the hitters. Go right at them. Keep your pitch count down. That way you don't have to burn any other pitchers up today, hopefully.
Tim, on the other hand, he's been sitting there, Kerrigan has, for 15 minutes while his team's been scoring these runs. His arm is stiffened up on a cold, kind of windy, nasty day. I mean, how do you get yourself loose between innings like that?
Well, again, it's all a learning process. He's been around for a while, so if you see it's a long inning, you go ahead and get yourself up and toss a little bit before you go back out on the bump.
DeAndre Green now the batter. Fourth hitter in the lineup. DeAndre, again, one of the freshmen, pressed into duty. Edgewood has 20 players on the roster, only 11 players available today because of sickness and other reasons. Swung on a missed.
Yeah, Kerrigan's he's just pounding the zone now. He knows what his job is.
Will Kerrigan, a senior. Off the hands, gets by the
That's going to
pitcher.
be a tough play.
Pitched that's nice little
nice
shovel by
play.
the second baseman. That's Travis Vollmer. Vollmer comes over, catches the ball with his glove, and shovels it with the glove to the first baseman, Hunter Arnett, for the out. That was a nice play.
That was a nice play.
When it got by the pitcher, I thought, well, maybe that's a base hit.
Well, the thing is, when it got by the pitcher, the first baseman didn't break, so I was scared there was going to be no one at the bag.
Yeah. Second baseman Vollmer came in and made it a nice play. Now Josh Hambrick, the sophomore. Josh playing at third base. Another one of the players pressed into duty because the young man who was supposed to start is ill today. Strike on the inside corner.
Like you said, Edgewood starting lineup, if they had a JV, most of them would be playing JV baseball, getting that learning experience.
Down low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, absolutely. I can remember being a freshman. Well, maybe I can't. It's been too long ago. But, thinking about playing as a full-time player as a freshman, especially if you're not physically developed,
right?
Then it's very tough. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3, right over the knees. Too close to take. 5 up, 5 down. Is Kerrigan now. I know you're not supposed to say pitching a no-hitter, so I won't say that. And especially after 5 batters, it's probably a little premature, don't you think?
Edgewood's going to get a knock.
There we go.
Right here.
Justin Payton, the freshman. Tim Lindenkamp has great confidence. So you're staking your reputation as a baseball man that this young man is going to get a base hit right here. You feel it.
He's catching, and he's got a
feel it
nice
in your bones.
stance.
Up high.
They said he pitched yesterday, so we'll see what he can do here. I like his stance, a little open.
Yep. Nice size for a freshman. Up high, 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, Tim, you mentioned that this is an open stance, which is the modern way that most hitters you see have that left foot a little bit open, gets the hips open a little quicker. Outside, ball 3.
When they talk about hitting, they talk about, your hands and everything. I always like to start at the feet.
Down low and outside, so you're off the hook. He didn't have a chance to get a hit.
But he's on base.
They were so afraid of him because they heard that you had said he was going to get a hit. They walked him. So there goes your perfect game. Ty Beatty now, the freshman right fielder at the bat, 2 out. Runner on at first base.
Oh, the catcher was looking for a runner.
And they're going to say, no, you can run yourself. So, Tim, they've again listened to you one more time.
I was surprised he asked for the runner. If I was the catcher, I would never ask for the runner. I want
Exactly,
to
yeah.
stay in the game as long as I can.
Yeah. Ty Beatty. Strike.
I wanted to see Kerrigan finally working from the stretch. Wanted to see if it changed anything, but
Yeah.
he still seems to be hitting that zone pretty good.
Swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, runner at first base. Bottom of the second inning. 7-0 the score. On the outside corner, strike 3. That's the 3rd strikeout, second 4th strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors. There was one run left on base. We have played 2 full innings. It's 7-0, the lead for the Harford Tech Cobras. And Tim, it's raining harder. I hate to say that to you. Sarah Friedman, the athletic director for Edgewood. Sarah, can you do something about the rain? Do you have the power to stop it from raining? You do.
She does have the power.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you go ahead and do that then? Yeah. Sarah Friedman, the outstanding athletic director for Edgewood High School. She told me to say that. She wrote it right there. Say, outstanding. No, just a, and you, Tim, as an athletic director at Aberdeen, you know. Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing. She's amazing, outstanding.
Following in your footsteps. Tim Lindekamp is the athletic director at Aberdeen, and Sarah Friedman, the athletic director at Edgewood. We're joking, but again, athletic directors, and you know, Tim, the details that you have to deal with, from buses to umpires to personnel, on and on. I don't know how or why you do it.
And the worst is the weather in the spring.
Yeah, yeah.
You do it because you love it.
Yeah.
You come up enjoying all sports, and it was tough when I stepped down from coaching, but it just got, seems like I got busier with the more sports you have and everything. So you want to do a job, you want to do it the best you can. So that's when I stepped down.
And you're the classroom teacher too. I mean, phys ed, yeah, that's tough because that's a tough thing to do. But normally you don't have a lot of homework or things like that going on. But as a classroom teacher, after being in the classroom all day long and then having to do that part of your job as well as being the athletic director.
I don't know how you did it when you were my teacher. I don't know how a lot of these teachers do it. Taking home math and history and having to grade all those papers and trying to coach.
And don't forget having to go to class to earn your master's degree.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Of course, as a young teacher working in 2 jobs, trying to be able to make a family commitment. I have the most respect for teachers in general, just because of what they try to do. Teachers make more money certainly today than they did when I was doing that job, but still, you're not going to get rich doing that job.
Not at all.
The great thing, Tim, is to see people like yourself who, not that you had anything to do with it, but that they have developed into outstanding human beings and contributors to society. That's what makes it all worthwhile.
Miller has a good inning here.
Go back now to the top of the order with Max Swart. Max is the leadoff man, and we played now into our 3rd inning, and he's leading off for the 3rd time, or at least batting for the 3rd time. Top of the 3rd inning, 7-0 the lead. Ooh. Rob Kessner was catching the warm-ups for Landon Miller, and Miller was putting the ball right down the middle of the plate, and Rob Kessner was saying to him, "Hey, that's all you got to do." Sounds easy, doesn't it?
It does sound easy.
Just like
There
that.
you go.
Swart with a walk and a single. Scored twice, has an RBI. Up high. The ball could be getting a little slick as well.
His mechanics are off a little bit right now. They say when you're there, you want to just reach out like you're putting your hand in the catcher's glove.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's all over the place right now.
Down low, and ball 4. Your leadoff batter's been up 3 times. He's been on base 3 times. That's kind of what you're supposed to do. Travis Vollmer now, the number 2 hitter in the order. Last time up, got a single and scored. Fanned in the first inning, 1 for 2.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for Landon Miller. He's a senior, has inexperience behind him. He's trying to carry the load himself. So he's trying, to pound the strike zone. He's struggling a little bit with that.
Inside corner. Fly ball, right field.
That's going to bleed.
And it does. It drops in that Texas leaguer in front of the right fielder. Having trouble picking it up and finally corrals it. So the single by Vollmer, he's now 2 for 3. Ball not hit extremely hard, but well placed.
Oh, I didn't need anything, but thank you.
Whoa, look at this.
Got some hot chocolate
Go
there and
for it,
some
yeah.
Reese's cups.
Thank you. Man, these people are treating us like we're royalty here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I even got on an Aberdeen sweatshirt, which is
Yeah,
surprising.
that's a little surprising there. Yeah. You'd think Aberdeen guy here in Edgewood. It's kind of fun, though. Rob Kessner, who did graduate from Aberdeen, now the assistant coach here at Edgewood. Ground ball second base. Scooped by the second baseman. Turn and throw to shortstop for 1. Back to first. The out is recorded at second base. That went from Mutai Hughes to Caden Kessner, the young man we just spoke about, his dad, at shortstop for the force out. So reaching on the fielder's choice is Prevost. The out recorded at second base from 4 to 6. Brings up the cleanup hitter, Ben Kedrowski. Ben hasn't batted yet. Tim, it's the 3rd inning. He hasn't batted. How can that be? Well, he had a sac fly in the 1st inning, and last time up he walked. So in effect, he's yet to bat.
That's right.
Swung on and missed.
If he could throw that curveball with consistency.
First and third, 1 out. Swung on and missed.
This could be big here if he can get a punch out here. Hopefully no runs this inning.
Yeah, that would be a major step in the right direction for the Edgewood Rams. 1 out. Check it, 2 outs in the inning. Pop up. Here comes Miller. You're so impressed with Miller in he's hustling. He wants it so badly. And there's so little you can do as a pitcher. Throw the ball. Hopefully you throw it well, and then it's up to your fielders.
You can see that's his senior leadership coming out with this young team.
Yeah, you talk about building a team, and if you're a senior, that's like yesterday. This is your senior year. This is what you remember the rest of your life. Just outside. The Edgewood bench kind of oohing and eyeing like that could have been a 3rd strike call.
I think Miller wanted it too.
Yeah. Down low. Scooped out of there by Payton. Greg Rodenbaugh, the Edgewood coach, Tim, you got to be impressed with your 0-6 and you're a team that's getting walloped game in and game out. You're hanging with it, and just like that, you get a strikeout and you get out of the inning with no runs.
That's only 2 outs there, boss.
I'm sorry, I had to. I'm looking at another inning. My bad.
That's okay, but he can still get out of this right here.
Good, yeah.
So
Gavin Angelini. Swung on and missed. Yeah, I neglected to cross out that inning because they batted around last inning. Apologize for that.
I tell you what, if he can get this fastball up, Angelini's having trouble with this high fastball.
Pop up.
That's out of play.
Out of play. Got a 2-strike count now. They're throwing at me now. Ball just rolling, almost hit me. It'll be okay. 2 strikes, 2 out. Curveball, there it is.
Yeah.
There's the curve he's looking
That's
for.
a nice inning by Miller to get out of that with no runs.
Like I said a moment ago, no runs scored in this inning.
That's right. That's big for Edgewood right there.
Oh, it is, yes.
Now they just need to come here and try to get a run or two, try to get something happening.
No runs, a base hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base. We've now played 2.5 innings with the Harford Tech Cobras leading by 7-0.
Looks like we got a new pitcher on the mound there.
Yeah.
Number 9, I thought it was. That Ryan Hardisky?
Yeah, Ryan Hardisky, yeah. Ryan, let's see, had he moved from another position? Looks like he was the right fielder.
He's on right field.
So Ryan Hardisky will move into the mound. I'm not sure what that means with our starting pitcher, Kerrigan, whether he's done after 3 innings or not. After 2 innings, I should say. No, check it after. Yeah, that's Hardisky is on the mound. Let's see if we can see number 16. Have they?
That's what I'm looking for. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
See if he went to right field. If he went to just a switch. And we still have 15 at first base. That's Arnett. We will assume that is Kerrigan in right field until we're corrected. Going now to the bottom of the 3rd inning. So Kerrigan pitches 2 innings. He gives up just that 1 walk, no hits. So no runs and no hits for the 2 innings that he pitched. For Ben George, the freshman center fielder, coming up to bat. Ben, remember, made that outstanding play back in the 1st inning. Much more of an overhand delivery.
Yeah. Looks like he has a little more velocity than Kerrigan, the first pitcher.
Ryan Hardinski. And that classic overhand fastball. Hardinski with the kind of throwback socks, the high socks. Ken, you like that look? Your silence means you don't.
I never wore mine high because my legs were so skinny.
Ah.
So I like having my pants down.
Was it George Hendrick, the Cleveland Indians outfielder, the first one who wore the pants long?
I believe he was.
Up until that time in the 3rd strike while we're discussing Major League pants being worn.
But as a coach, I like to have my players wear them up because what they'll do is they'll hook them on the back of their cleat and they end up destroying my baseball pants.
Oh, yes. I see what matters there. Mutai Hughes, another freshman, number 9 hitter, takes a strike.
Yeah, Hardinski, he's just coming in and pounding the zone.
Bringing it. Pitching again from that stretch and nobody on base, but yeah, and again, going back to the old days of baseball, they would have told you, no, you need to wind up, get momentum, but Tim, as you know, it puts all kinds of mechanics into play to make sure that you get the hand and the arm and the shoulder exactly where it needs to be.
I mean, here it's all just, working out a stretch. He's just stepping forward. He's still getting good balance, still driving off that back leg. Swung
on the mist. 2 up and 2 down. Again, back years ago, you would see relievers who would throw out of the stretch almost all the time because they were used to having runners on base. But now again, you're seeing many of the starting pitchers using a modified stretch. This is an honest to goodness there's a runner on base when there isn't one. Leadoff hitter now at bat. Caden Kestner. Caden fanned back in the first inning. Love to see left-handed hitters, Timmy, because you don't see that many of them. They're a step and a half closer to first base.
That's right.
Up high.
Yeah, and as a left-handed hitter, you should learn the art of bunting. Because, I mean, if you bunt once a game, that can raise your average very quickly.
You think about, most pitchers are right-handed. Their curveball would be coming into you.
Right.
There's a strike. One ball, two strikes. Bottom of the third inning. Down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Caden Kestner, the freshman shortstop. Foul back.
Nice cut there.
Yeah, you can tell he's a young man who's well schooled, his dad being an athlete. Caden plays soccer also like his dad did at Aberdeen. Rob Kestner tells me that back in 1997, Harford, then cable network, strike 3. Dare you interrupt my story about what happened in 1997, that we interviewed him after an outstanding game playing for Aberdeen. That goes back a few years. He said to me, "You were old then," meaning me, and so now you're ancient, I think is what he said. That's how I interpreted what he was saying. Yeah, it's fun to see the generations of athletes, this being our 30th year of doing the games, on TV.
I remember the one year we played here when I was coach at Aberdeen, and you interviewed Patrick Hinch after the game.
Patrick Hinch, who played shortstop back when I was coaching in 1974. One of that, just a great bunch of athletes back in that day. Patrick and Mike Gustoff, who were the 2 really stars of that team.
You had some pitching then too. You had Roger Gumpers and Stork Keene.
Yep. Gerald Brackens. Yeah, we were loaded, and I managed as a manager to manage us into second place that year. I take credit. We were discussing that, and we were talking about playing a team you expect to beat. We were playing Joppatown that year. Joppatown had not won a game in their history because they were a brand new school, 1974. They were just a year old. So I pitched my 4th pitcher thinking, hey, I'll save my better pitchers for later in the week. We were playing Bel Air the next day. And darned if they didn't beat us 8-7. And that cost us the county championship. We lost by 1 game to Bel Air. I take full credit for that. Let's see, that's 1974. That would be what? Is that 40 years ago or is that 50 years ago?
40 plus.
40, 84, 94,
50 now, isn't it?
Is that 50 years?
15 years now.
Whoa.
Wow, that's crazy.
Not that I remember it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So we go now to the top of the 4th inning. Leading off is Ben Parsons. Ben, who walked and fanned, up for the 3rd time. Swung on a miss. There was a young man we talked about who came in at 3 for 4 on the year, had batted 4 times. Now he's 3 for 5.
I'd like to see Miller have another clean inning here, hopefully.
There's that curveball just inside, hangs a bit. Yeah, Landon Miller, I was impressed with his inning, last inning, where he got out of it without a run being scored. Low and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Pop-up foul and out of play. Paul Danielle, Bill Jones, the assistant coach of Harford Tech. Bill Jones, who has been around this county, Timmy, not as long as myself, but he has been a coach at many different spots.
He,
He's one of those guys that just loves to be around athletes and loves to coach.
Bill just stepped down this year as my head varsity basketball coach.
Yours being at Aberdeen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with a younger coach that's in the building and see how things work out.
Yeah. Ball 4. Down to first base is Parsons, his second walk of the game. Bring up Ryan Hardinsky. Ryan, who started in right field and moved into the mound this past inning.
Now, as a coach, when do you, as Coach Danielle, say, let's go ahead and try to get 3 on the board and get out of Dodge because it's bad weather and get my guys home? Or do you just, go with the pieces you got still?
Yeah, you're right. And I think what Tim is talking about is that, swung on a miss, a lot of these young men who are playing for Harford Tech are substitutes, they're reserves. A lot of the starters are sitting on the bench, and, still they're winning by 7-0. But now we're in the 4th inning. There's a line shot up the middle, base hit. Hustling down to second base. Boy, nice job center fielder.
Yeah, it was a good job by the center fielder, kept it in front of him.
Yeah, Ben George coming in, and that could have been close at second base. A good job also running the bases, Ben Parsons, to get down to second base.
Now you got a new pinch runner coming in. You flip through your book here, number 10, Zach Lane.
Zach Lane will be PRing, well, actually DRing, designated runner. And again, the rule is that this doesn't count. You're not seeing this happen. It's the player who's substituted for, isn't restricted from coming back in, and the runner can come in and run again.
Like I was saying again, as a coach, it's a hard decision when you want to, try to get those 3 runs and get it over with, especially on a nasty day. You don't want to get anybody hurt.
Will Kerrigan now, the pitcher who apparently did move to right field. He's still in the ball game. Kerrigan, who got a single and a walk. He's 1 for 1 officially, scored a run.
Nice pitch there.
Tim, as an official score, if Tech does win this ball game, he pitched only 2 innings. Are you going to give him enough to win the ball game? Especially if it's limited to 5 innings. Pop-up, foul, and out of play.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there a high school rule for that? I have no idea.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to say, if he pitched 2 innings and the game only goes 5 innings, I'm going to give him the win.
I think you should.
We're being a little premature here.
Yes, this is true.
Oh, that's a curveball. What a curve. Best pitch of the game for Farrell. For Miller, I'm sorry. They're saying he has 1 batter left, meaning he must be reaching his pitch limit.
Must be reaching his pitch limit for the week.
That's a rule, Tim, as a modern coach, that was instituted to keep the overuse of pitchers. Some coaches would just use a pitcher until his arm fell off. What is it, 90 pitches or something per week?
It's all based on grade and I think a freshman, if he throws 30 in a game, then he has to have a day's rest. The most you can throw, I think, is 115 in a week.
Okay.
And I think it's a great rule.
Oh, I agree. Hunter Arnett, the batter. Hunter hit by a pitch and scored. Pop-up, foul, and out of play. We talk about Ben McDonald. You and I were both saying that we just love him as an announcer. Ben McDonald was a great pitcher for LSU. But in the major leagues, he was the 1-1. In other words, picked first by the Orioles, first overall pick. His arm, foul ball again, was pretty much spent, and he didn't have the kind of major league career because at LSU, he pitched just about every game.
Yeah, Skip Berkman's a great coach, but with Ben McDonald, he'd start on Friday and relieve on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because it was all about, winning that national championship.
goes right by the catcher. Runners hold where they are. Again, Tim, that kind of answers your question that
Yes, yes,
Paul
it did.
Danielle is saying, hey, we don't want to embarrass Edgewood. We're going to play it station to station. If we score, it'll be because we knocked the run in, not that we get it on a wild pitch or something of that nature. Arnett, the number 9 batter in the order. Landon Miller gone all the way for Edgewood. Curveball swung on and
Yeah.
missed. 2 strikeouts in this inning.
Now they're going to make a pitching change. But, going back to that 10-run rule, too, sometimes, though, as a coach and you're winning and you get that ball in the gap and you hold him to a single, or you just have a pass ball like that and you don't move up the base, sometimes it feels like, are you also rubbing it in a little bit? I don't know. It's a fine line.
It is.
And, it's hard to figure out exactly, what to do and what not to do sometimes.
You and I know Paul Danielle very well, the athletic director as well as the baseball coach at Harford Tech. I don't think there's anybody in the county I respect more than Paul Danielle as just a honestly good guy who's in it for the kids and just dedicated to the craft.
Yeah, Paul's a real good coach. I was lucky enough to coach his brother Kim Danielle at Harford Community College. Kim pitched for me.
By the way, we're having a pitching change. Looks like it's going to be the shortstop Kessner coming into pitch, and going to play shortstop is Landon Miller. So a 1-for-1 switch. Kessner, a freshman, talking to his mom before the game, and I said, well, where does your son play? And she said, everywhere. He is utility. And again, finding your way as a freshman, he is that kind of guy that will do anything to help the team.
If you look at it now, too, back years ago in the major leagues, you were a shortstop, you were a second baseman. And now they've got a lot of these guys that are, I think Mark McLemore was the first one that started, moving all around the infield and outfield. And what a way to really help your team when you can play several positions.
Very good point, yeah. On the other hand, you get to be branded as a utility player. And, you don't get to concentrate on that one position. So being in it for the team, it's helpful, but sometimes harmful for the individual. Well, with 2 out now, that'll bring up our leadoff hitter. 4 innings and 4 times at bat. Max Swart, the shortstop. Max has a walk, a single. And actually 2 walks and a single. Scored 2 runs. Runners at first and second. 7 strikeouts for starting pitcher Landon Miller. Ball off the catcher's mask.
I mean, if you go back and look at it, Miller didn't have that bad of a day. The walks got him, a couple errors got him.
Yep.
So if we can make those plays and cut down on the walks, this game could be a 3-0 game right now,
Absolutely.
4-0 game.
Yep. Well, 4. How tough is that coming in from shortstop, not having warmed up? Now you're pitching in a competitive game.
That was one of the biggest things when I coached at Harford Community College is that I had a pitching staff. I didn't have to bring the shortstop in the pitch.
Yeah.
I could get guys up and get them ready. I think it's very difficult. You come from a position and then come right to the mound and have to start throwing. It's where they give you your 8 warm-ups and let's go.
Yeah. Travis Vollmer, the batter. Travis, 2 hits now, 2 for 3. Bases are loaded, 2 out. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Ball 2.
This has got to be tough on the freshman coming in this situation, trying to throw strikes.
And gets a
There
strike.
we go.
2 balls and a strike. Vollmer's got the bases loaded. 190 hitter on the year. 2 RBIs. Fly ball left field.
Oh,
Left fielder unable to play it and then boots it One run will score, and now a second run will score. And so Edgewood, who should have been out of that inning, gives up these 2 runs on the error to the left fielder. Palmer stays at first base. Going all the way to third is Swart. Scoring on the play is Parsons and Hordinsky. So that now makes it 9-0. I'll bring up Ethan Prevost. Prevost has a walk and a single. Reached on a fielder's choice. 1 for 2 officially. Scored 2 runs. 250 hitter on the year. Pop up. First baseman. Out of play. Again, now we talk about the mercy rule coming into play. We're in the 4th inning, so Edgewood would have to bat 5 times and be down by 10 runs. They're down now by 9 at 9-0. Up high.
And you know, a lot of times when you're, it is 9-0, you're trying to push that 10th run across. A lot of times that can be very difficult to do because you're, pressing so hard to do it.
They didn't have the 10-run rule in when I was coaching. Runner going down to second base. Not enthusiastically, but jogging down to second base is Vollmer. I can recall we lost the game 16-0 to North Harford. Everything went wrong, and we had a rule that we had to run a football lap for every run that we had lost by. And being a stupid young man that I was, well, relatively young, I agreed to run with the team. Think about it. 16 laps is 4 miles.
Yeah.
We had to run those 16 laps before we could practice the next day. So we came in early in the morning and ran some of them, ran them at noon. That was the day I think Cal Ripken Sr. came in and said to me, Coach, how far is it from home to first? Ground ball third base, by the third baseman, run will score. Give him a base hit on that, and that is the 10th run now that scores. Swart comes in to score on the single by Prevost. Anyhow, I said 90 feet. He said, well, why are you running 4 miles? I said, talk to the team. Up high.
Yeah.
Then Kedrowski. The concept was, hey, if you're down 7-0, you're going to run a lap for every run we lose by. So at least hustle and try to make it close if you're going to lose. 16-0.
I've been on the side of some of those too.
Ugh.
But, you know, funny you talk about Cal Sr. He said, you shouldn't be doing anything that's not baseball related.
Yeah. Cal,
so running your 4 miles, I don't think was baseball
not
related.
at all. And Cal said, you don't practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes
That's
perfect. That was his famous statement. I think folks who knew Cal Sr. know what a great man he was. And Ken Palmer will tell you that the man who did more for him in his career was Cal Ripken Sr., who had him in the low minor leagues when he was coming up. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. 3 runs in this inning, so it is a 10-0 lead for Harford Tech. We lost Cal Sr., I think it was 1999, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the year.
Swung on a missed. Cal Jr., who dedicated part of the money he got from the major leagues for breaking the Lou Gehrig's record to build your stadium at Aberdeen.
Yes.
Dedicated to Senior. Ball 4.
So talking about Senior, what did you think of Holiday stepping up at wearing number 7?
I thought what a classy move on the part of the Ripken family. That 7, and classy for the Orioles, who had left that number sort of in semi-retirement since Cal last wore it, Cal Senior, back in in '92, I think. So yeah, classy all the way around. Swung on a missed. This is Gavin Angelini. Gavin, who's 2 for 3, fan last time up. Bases are loaded. 2 out. Remember, the Rams had held Tech without a run here and really was within one strike of being out of this inning.
Right.
Now they've given up three with the fear of maybe giving up more.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Jackson Holiday now wearing the number 7. Cal Jr., now part owner of the team, along with the Rubenstein family. And the rain continues to pelt down as it gets a little bit harder. Somebody said it was going to be light rain and it was going to end around 3:30. Last time I looked at my watch, it was beyond 3:30. Never trust, yeah. The booth tells us, the meteorologist, think about this. You're a meteorologist and you say 10% chance it's going to rain. So if it rains, you said, I told you it might. If it doesn't rain, you say, I told you it probably wouldn't.
Best job in the world.
Best job in the world. You could be wrong and keep your job.
Keep your job.
Well, the strikeout is recorded as Angelini goes down looking. In that inning, 3 runs. 3 runs on 1, 2 base hits. 1 big error. 3 runners left on base. It is now 10-0 as the Rams come to bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. And again, that 10-run mercy or slaughter rule, the team that's trailing has to bat 5 times. So
Correct.
if it remains 10-0, Edgewood would get 2 more at bats. Unless the rain becomes even more serious, in which case.
It's been a while since I coached, and I don't even know what the rule is with that. If it stops before 5, I think the coaches might have to agree that it's over, because then I think it would be a suspended game, and you'd have to come back and finish 1 inning.
Take you back to 1978 when Aberdeen won the state title, Cal Ripken's team as a senior. If you remember, it was the regional finals. They were down at Arundel, and they were losing the game 4-1, I think. Pretty much as the game was over, there was not a cloud in the sky. I was covering the game for the newspaper at the time, and all of a sudden a cloud came over. It dumped, at least for a half hour, a torrential downpour. The game was washed out, and at that time, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, they went back and played the game all over.
Yes, you had to go back and start again in the 1st inning.
So it started at 0-0.
0-0.
Instead of losing the game, which Aberdeen was in danger of losing, they won it and won the state title.
That's right.
I think just another measure of Cal Jr.'s charmed life, if you think about it. Remember that he had sworn that who was it? Scotty Scheffler said if his wife went into labor during the Masters, he would leave. Remember, the Cal said that if Ryan were born, he would go to the hospital and be with him, which means that his streak would have ended. Do you know that he was born on an off day?
That's amazing, isn't it?
Cal, and remember, they were in this big scrum with the Milwaukee Brewers, and Cal hurt his knee, would not have been able to play the next day. It was an off day.
Yeah.
So you go back and you look at that charmed life that Cal Ripken Sr. lived.
All the cards lined up in a row.
Yeah, what a charmed life, and what a privilege to have known, Cal Jr. Looks like we have leading off here on the bottom of the 4th. This is number 16. This is Isaiah Hanks, the sophomore. Isaiah, who grounded out to the first baseman unassisted back in the 1st inning. It is not 16, but it's 14, so let's see if we can figure out who that is. 14 would be James Slatton, James a junior, pinch hitting for number 16, Isaiah Hanks. Still pitching Ryan Hardensky, Ryan who came in last inning. Ryan is throwing the ball well.
He's doing what he's supposed to do, just really not throwing anything but that fastball, it looks like, just going right after him.
Swung on and missed. And down he goes. So the starting pitcher, Kerrigan, had 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. Now it looks like Hardensky has fanned everybody who's come up to face him. He's faced 4 batters and fanned 4. Landon Miller now, who the pitcher for the Edgewood Rams, fanned back in the first inning on a looking third strike.
Yeah, say Hardinsky's just bringing the gas right at him, saying,
Yeah,
here it is, hit it.
It's like, give me the ball and let me throw. Line shot, foul. That would have been a base hit.
Maybe a double down that line.
Yeah. Maybe the hardest hit ball the entire game for either team.
You're probably right.
Yeah, although the Cobras are up 10-0, they really haven't had a lot of blue darters, if you will. Strike right at the knees. Landon Miller doesn't agree. Talking to himself or anybody who will listen, expressing that point of view. Landon has something to say about the umpire trying to get his money and get out of here.
Get out of here.
Well, here we have a new batter coming up.
Here too.
Pinch hitter looks like number 2, and that would be Naheem Jones, Naheem a junior. 2 out, nobody on. Strike.
Yep, right on the inside corner. I kind of like what Hardinsky's doing here, you know. He's saying, I got a 10-run lead. I don't have to throw curveballs. I'm just going to throw it down the middle of the plate and challenge you, and here it comes.
Yep. Just outside.
Yeah.
Nice motion, nice delivery. Right over the top. They talk about repeatable deliveries, and he has one. Not a whole lot of foul right off the hands. Whew. That ball was right on the inside corner, maybe even inside that.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about a wooden bat. If you'd had a wooden bat, you'd had 2 bats in your hand.
he'd be getting another one, that's for sure. 'Cause
Splinters.
that was right on the hands.
It's 1 on and missed. 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We have now played 4 full innings with a 10-0 lead on the part of the Cobras. If you're looking for improvement, and that's what Edgewood is, they lost that first game they played against Tech by 20-5 in a 5-run or 5-inning shortened game. Tech scored 15 runs in the first inning, so it was just sort of much playing out the string from that point. Happy to say that the rain, no, I'm not going to say it.
Don't say it.
Last time I said the rain had stopped. It started in earnest, so forget I even brought that up.
Hopefully Kaiser will get in a groove here and throw some strikes. And, make Harford Tech, if they want to score some runs, earn those runs.
Caden Kessner, the freshman, dad, Rob Kessner. It's funny because Rob said, you never pronounced my name correctly, meaning when he was playing ball in high school, and you never spelled it correctly. Okay,
And I still didn't pronounce it correctly.
Kuessner. Now, whose fault is that? Not my fault. You put a U in your name.
That's right.
The U does not belong there. No, just kidding.
That's why as a coach, if I have trouble with their names, I just give them a nickname.
Nickname, yep, yeah. Good point. Yep. So here we go now to the top of the 5th inning. Parsons.
That's in the gap.
Fly ball left field and hit well into that gap. Parsons has a double and he'll hang on there at second base. Parsons, who walked, fanned, and then walked again, now has a base hit. Double into left center field gap.
Talking nicknames when I was in Atlantic City coaching, we had a Japanese pitcher. I still can't say his name, so I called him Bob.
Bob.
Made life easy.
Good. And Hardensky line shot up the middle, another base hit
Well,
off the center fielder's glove. Not turning at third and going though, hanging on there. Good job by Ben George to be able to knock that ball down and stay with it. Now we talked about hard hit balls. There's a couple of hard hit balls.
And now if that grass wet, it's going to hit that outfield and skip.
Runners at first and third. Hardensky, a 2-for-4 night, flew out to right field, fanned, and then singled and singled. Scored in the last inning.
He just stole second base, and Coach Danielle is not happy about that. I
Yeah.
could read his lips. What are you doing?
Will Kerrigan now. Yeah, we're talking about Hardensky going down and taking second base, and Paul Danielle has told his team, you can tell, don't take the extra base. It's hard to read that out of the players, though. They say, hey. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Will Kerrigan, who started the game at the pitcher, got a single and run and scored, walked and then fanned. 1 for 2. Looks like the Edgewood bench is bench jockeying against Kerrigan, saying, you know, hit the ball. Outside. Caden Kessner, the pitcher who came in from shortstop last inning. Got runners at second and third, nobody out. Fly ball, center field, no, I should say second base, who was unable to make the catch. The runner does not run. Yeah, the error getting on at first base. So runners hold on at second and third. The bases are loaded. And that'll bring up Hunter Arnett. Hunter, the first baseman, hit by a pitch and fanned twice.
If I'm the catcher, I'm asking for help there. I think he might have went.
Yeah, I believe. Ball one, they say inside. Ball two up high. Arnett scored after being hit by the pitch back in that second inning. That was a 5-run second inning. Ground ball to shortstop. Fumbles the ball, throws to first base, throws it wide and safe at first base on the error to the shortstop.
Yeah, he wanted to he was trying to cut down the run at home. And, you know, with the score 10-0, let's just get an out.
Yeah.
You know.
And the shortstop is Landon Miller, who had been the pitcher. Showed a good arm, but threw the ball a bit wide after he fumbled the ball. Had an out anywhere. All he had to do was touch second or throw home, but nothing happened good.
It's a foul ball.
Foul ball to left field. Looks like we have a pinch hitter here. This would be the spot for Max Swart.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Santiago Weinhold. Number 11, Santiago Weinhold. Pinch hitting for Max Swart. Max, who came up 4 times, walked twice. Actually walked 3 times, scored 3 runs. Got a single and an RBI.
Edgewood's brought the infield up.
Yeah, the play would be at the plate. Nobody out. It's an 11-0 lead for the Cobras. They scored 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and 3 in the fourth. Ground ball through the hole, fielded by the shortstop. Long throw to first base. Boy, what a nice play, but unable to complete it at first base on the single.
That's what I say, though. Once again, though, you know, you go back, it's a young team. He's a senior. He fielded, headed to third. He was ahead of the runner. He could have just kept running, touched third, and at least gives him 1 out.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the little things like that are really biting Edgewood.
Travis Vollmer now. Yeah, I think we have another pinch hitter. This is number 6, and this is Jansen Graff. We've seen Jansen as a
Pinch runner.
pinch runner. Now he's batting left-handed. Now he's going to bat right-handed. I'm confused.
We're not sure what Mr. Graff wants to do
Yeah.
today.
They now have a rule in the major leagues that you can't switch with the same pitcher batting right or left. You have to maintain. Let's say you're a switch hitter. You can't bat right-handed on the first pitch, left-handed on the second
Right.
pitch. Unless they switch pitchers, if they do, then all bets are off.
You have to commit to whatever that pitcher is.
Yeah. Tell you a story in a moment if we have a chance. Swung on a missed. Graff pinch hitting for Travis Vollmer. Young man whose name escapes me now, ambidextrous, threw right and left-handed. And he was pitching in a game where he was getting pounded, and he yelled, "Oh, expletive deleted, throw him in my other glove." And they did. And then he struck out the side throwing left-handed. I've never seen anything like that. Speaking of striking out, Graff goes down on strikes.
Can you imagine how hard that is to be throwing with both hands,
Yeah.
especially at the major league level?
Brings up Prevost. Yeah, this is Ethan Prevost now. There will not be a pinch hitter for him. Ethan has 2 hits, 2 for 3 up. He did walk one time up, has scored 2 runs. Barry Janney was the young man's name. He became sheriff in Cecil County. Was drafted by the Phillies and got as high as Class A with the Phillies as a third baseman. I went to see him play once, and he had number 20 on, and I said, "Isn't that Mike Smith's number?" And he showed me the uniform, and it was Mike Smith's old hand-me-down uniform that he had taken over. Playing, I think, for Johnson City, I believe, at that time. But yeah, he was pitching in the Susquehanna League, and he was not doing well right-handed, and so he got his other glove and just started throwing the ball left-handed.
Crazy. The old Susquehanna League.
Yeah.
Ooh.
One of the great players of all time, the late great Brooks Robinson, was also ambidextrous, as you know, and did everything left-handed. Ate, signed baseballs, wrote. From the booth, that's just too good to relive. I hear that the young man would give his right arm to be ambidextrous.
That was a good one. I like that.
That was a good one, yeah. Notice how I give blame or credit to the booth, not to myself. Ground ball, second base, fielded by the second baseman. Good job, and the out is recorded at second base. That's only 2 out, but we give credit to the second baseman. Yeah, that's number 11. That's Mai Tai Hughes. Well, he hung with that ball. That ball was hit like a blue dart. So the force out at second base. Run does score.
Go back to it again, that mental mistake. If he flips it, knows how many outs are there out of the inning.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the little things that's, that's just really hurting Edgewood. I see a lot of potential out there for him.
So Prevost reaches on that fielder's choice force out. This is Ben Kodrowski. Ben walked last time up. 0 for 1 officially fanned. He flew out on a sac fly in the first inning on that nice play by George in center field. Walked in the second inning. Fanned to end that second inning. He batted twice in the second inning and walked last time up. Low bridge. Three runs in here in the top of the 5th inning, making the score 13-0. Sun trying to peek out a minute here, Tim. Swung on a missed.
There we go. Well, Edgewood's got a lot of work to do here.
I said it was Ben Kodrowski. Let me correct myself. It looked like it was a pinch hitter, Ryan Walto, who was pinch hitting and ends up with a strikeout. So in that inning, there were 3 runs scored. Let's see, there were 3 base hits, 2 errors, 2 runners left on base. Now 13-0 after 5.5 innings. And again, the rules are that Harford Tech would have to score 3 runs. Edgewood would have to score 3 runs to keep this game going.
Harford Tech's going with a new pitcher, looks like Brendan Colderon.
Number 13. Tim, are you at all superstitious about wearing number 13?
No, I'm not superstitious about it, but I wouldn't wear it.
You want to explain that? You're not superstitious, but you wouldn't wear
Well,
it.
you know, all of us baseball guys have some
Oh, yeah,
superstitions.
yeah.
So, you know, if I was having a nice hitting streak on, I might not wash my uniform till it ended.
Yeah.
If I was doing something bad, if I was in a bad slump, I might go in the shower with my whole uniform on to try to wash the badness off of it. I just can never see myself wearing 13.
Yeah, I don't tempt fate. There's a reason
That's
why
right.
hotels for a long time didn't have a 13th floor. And there's a reason, yeah. I got enough trouble without tempting fate. So yeah, the third pitcher of the ball game for the Harford Tech Cobras.
Brendan Colderon, I think that's how you say it.
Yep. Brendan Coldiron. Number 13. We don't have stats on him, but just the third pitcher of the ball game for the Cobras.
I think you got a new catcher too, number 7 it looks like.
If we can see that number. If it is 7, it's Josh Hayes.
Oh, he starts off the first pitch by hitting him.
Ow, that hurts. It's Josh Hambrick who is hit by the pitch. Josh had fanned in his own other time at the bat. So it looks like now we have number 4, Justin Payton, the freshman catcher. Justin who walked. Strike.
He's gonna break this no-hitter right here.
So you just saw your batter before you get hit. Are you digging in on that first pitch? With the stolen base.
Okay. So if you're gonna hit me, I'm gonna take a base on you.
You're down to second base on the steal. Hayes showed a nice arm, and if that is number 7, we're thinking it's number 7, the new catcher. Strike on the outside corner. And the strikeout is recorded. That'll bring up Ty Beatty. Ty says, they tell me his nickname is Mickey. Doesn't look like, yeah, this is Ty Beatty, number 9. I asked him, was it Mickey Mantle, and they said no, Mickey Mouse, which I thought was rather cruel.
Oh!
And just like that, he took out the bench trying to hit him with that foul ball. Do you know what Mickey Mantle's real first name was?
I have no idea.
Mickey.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. His dad liked Mickey Cochran, and so, and the foul ball is recorded, and that is the second out.
A little confused there.
Yeah, and the batter said, really? So now here's Ben George, the last hope for the Rams. Down low. Ben George, the center fielder, who fanned back in the third inning. As my partner mentioned, and I didn't say it, a no-hitter is being thrown. Going down to third base, safely on the wild pitch. I would hate to end a game by being thrown out at third base.
I don't want to be that guy, but I will. The third baseman's awful deep.
Would you bunt? No, no, Tim. No, you would not bunt to end a no-hitter. You would not be that guy.
Oh, you just say it was a squeeze. I'm trying to get the run in.
Looks like 12 strikeouts for the Rams here through 4 2/3.
Okay,
There's a walk.
there we go.
Second base runner for the Edgewood Rams today.
You don't want to be the last out getting thrown out at second either,
No.
because he's going to throw through.
Mutai Hughes now the batter. Mutai made that nice play last inning where he was able to scoop the hard-hit ground ball. There he goes down to second. Go down to second base. High, through into center field. Here comes the run in from third base. And the run is scored. Scoring from third base is Josh Hambrick. Josh, who reached on the hit by pitch, stole second, went to third on a wild pitch, and now scores on a double steal. Charge the air to the catcher on the high throw. So it will not be a shutout. So
No.
if it is a no-hitter, but not a shutout.
The pitcher's struggling right now a little bit.
Yeah, a little wild. Well, give the Rams credit. I mean, running on the bases, I mean, what you're trying to do is to extend the game. If you can score 3 runs,
That's right.
you know, the batter at the plate is the potential game extending run. 13-1 is the score. That runner at second would be 13-2. Strike on the outside corner, and so much for that theory, as our game will come to an end on that strikeout. So striking out 3, walking, hitting a batter and walking a batter. And so in that inning, 1 run on no hits. There was 1 error, and 1 runner was left on base. So we have played now 5 full, and the score is 13-1 by rule. That would mean it is the 10-run slaughter rule, mercy rule, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And so the Harford Tech Cobras will win their 8th game of the year. They'll go to 8-2. Edgewood Rams will drop to 0-7. Tim, not unexpected what happened here today, and that is the slaughter rule, the mercy winning by the Harford Tech Cobras. Give the Edgewood Rams credit. They continued hustling. They played hard. They were just overmatched with a bunch of young players playing against a veteran team.
Right, I'm telling you, I mean, if these young players keep working hard, it was the walks and some mental mistakes that got them. I mean, you know, they cut down on those walks. They could have been in this game a little bit.
Will Kerrigan is the young man who pitched the first 2 innings, and unofficially we're going to give him the win.
Give him the win.
Yeah, he ends up fanning, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, walk 1, so he will be given the victory, the credit for the win. Let's look at some of the great hitters for Harford Tech. Max Swart came up 4 times before he was pinch hit 4, reached base 4 times. He walked 3 times and got a base hit. As a leadoff man, well, you can't ask much more than that. Scored 3 runs, and it looks like, well, a bunch of other players. So we'll give you the total scores. For the Harford Tech Cobras, they scored 13 runs on 6, 7, 9, on 12 hits. So it was a satisfying win if you're Harford Tech. You did what you needed to do. That is, you came to Edgewood and you defeated a team that you were supposed to defeat.
That's correct. And, you know, now they'll have off, 2 days and come back Monday. I don't know what their schedule is, but I'm sure they got some tough ones coming up. And, you know, the ones you're supposed to win, you need to win. And hopefully come back and win the tough ones.
They lost to Bow Manor, so they are needing to win against Bow Manor in the second half and win all their games to end up tied, you know, for the Susquehanna Division lead. And again, it's important because if you want to move up to the Chesapeake, you got to be the winner of your division.
That's right.
You got to win from here on out. That's the incentive that Harford Tech has.
And they got to hope that, you know, some teams give them some help with Bo Manor too.
Yeah.
Aberdeen still has to play them twice, so maybe Aberdeen can sneak one by them and help Harford Tech out a little bit.
Well, hope you've enjoyed this ball game. The Harford Tech Cobras winning by a final score of 13-1 here at Edgewood High School, winning the ball game again as they were supposed to, as they were expected to. But again, give credit to Paul Danielle, who started a bunch of players who hadn't seen a lot of time. They've been practicing since March the 15th. They deserve a chance to play. And also trying to give Edgewood, not to sort of rub it in their nose, a team that we started 6 freshmen did the Edgewood High School team. So lots of good times ahead for Edgewood if they stick with it. For the Harford Tech Cobras, a senior laden team, a team that this is the year that they hope to win their division, move up to the Chesapeake, and maybe even make some noise in the postseason.
Exactly.
Tim Lindekamp, any closing thoughts on this game?
No, just like I said, Edgewood's got a young team. Hopefully they'll stick with it. And hopefully, they can build and get a JV. I think that'll help them a lot. But I think there's some good future at Edgewood right now.
Well, again, thank you all for tuning in, for watching the game. As the sun has come out now, life is good. The win for the Harford Tech Cobras, 8-2. Edgewood losing there now 0-7. Thanks for tuning in. Don Morrison, my partner Tim Lindekamp. Have a good evening.